morning, Brazil.
Good morning. Be welcome, please.
Good afternoon from Israel. We're sending our blessing from Israel now. Thanks
Very
for
nice.
the warm welcome.
Israel, thank you for attending us here and spend your time with us. It's an amazing live today, and we expect to understand better how to use and protect the API. We know today API is in everywhere, and now APP. In fact, the world is have a mutation from the computer to cell phone, smartphone. Then we have a lot of API transaction between APPs and credit card and all this thing. And we hope you can explain to us how to do it, how to work, how to protect the attacks. Please, the stage is yours.
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Israel Gross. I'm actually the co-founder and chief revenue officer of the company of L7 Defense. And I'm American and I live in Israel. My role in the company is working with a lot of partners worldwide. I build and manage one of the largest cybersecurity communities in Israel. So I'm very happy to be part of this bridge between Israel and Brazil. And I would love to talk to you today about APIs. As Ilan said, APIs are everywhere. And I will talk and give some examples and what's the risk and how we can actually stop those type of attacks. So I will start with the presentation. So L7 Defense Week, our claim of fame is protecting APIs from the first request. And let me take you on the journey of this process. In a summary nutshell, L7 Defense, we are a cybersecurity company providing a software solution named Immune. Immune has a special name, Applicative Immune. It's based on the immune system model of the human body, and it's the fully automated system. They're using immune system models in order to block real-time attacks. So this is a genius technology we have here from Israel, and we're looking forward to present it here in the next slides. So what we're going to have today, we're going to have talk about where you use those APIs, about L7 Defense, about the immune system, and some case studies. At the end, we will move to a live demo system where we have some time. We will demonstrate live attacks of APIs. When we're talking about APIs, we say everywhere. When you take your mobile phone, every app you have on your mobile phone actually communicates via API to a system in the back. It can be to a database, to a data center, to another web server, and further. This means the whole world today in your hand is 100% APIs. And actually even more than that. There are some companies that are 100% built on APIs. Think about the finance industry, where you have today neobanks. Neobanks is a bank that never had a server. It's a new generation bank, full cloud. Everything is API oriented. The world is moving very fast. We're going to show some statistics in the next slide. But to understand some of the verticals, we talked about the finance, open banking regulation worldwide, cross-boarding from Hong Kong, London, and United States. Everywhere is moving to open APIs for the banking. Talking about healthcare. We all suffered last 3 years, pandemic, where all the data of the health data communicated through APIs. Talking about the 5G generation, telcos are all providing new types of data center, well-distributed API-based data centers. Wherever you go, everything you touch is API. And that's what we're looking for to secure. Actually, if you're looking at it backwards, 7 years ago, most of the traffic worldwide was based on web servers. Now, 2022, we are talking about 93% of all online traffic, every web traffic is actually based on APIs. We talk about more than 90% of all traffic. It became new standard where you have everything communicating on one way. In order to be secure, you have to find an agnostic way to validate all of those APIs. And let's see some numbers. When you're looking about companies using APIs, internal APIs are already there. They're all close to 100%. Third-party APIs, we're talking about 94%. This means third-party means an API from a vendor, from a partner vendor. That can be a supplier of AI, supplier of sales mechanism, everything today over there can be all those third parties APIs. When you're looking about organizations that are looking to secure, Everyone is looking to secure those APIs because that's the business today. If 80% of the business will grow through those APIs, you have to be secured. But actually what we see that only 11% of organizations have an API security in place. It's a big gap between 98% requirements for APIs than 11% of actually security. There's a big gap. This is the time everyone is looking at APIs. You're looking about examples. We're going to talk about some examples, but Gartner says that most of those attack breaches of data comes through those APIs. We're going to give several examples soon. L7 Defense provide this software solution, helps securing inline and scale automatically from the first request. We're going to show here example and case studies, but the idea here is a solution that can be deployed anywhere. Plug and play, can be deployed on the cloud, on-prem, hybrid, etc. And of course, what we have to keep is no impact on the network. Just to give you the summarize of the technology inside. So the system is built on a reverse proxy where it gets all the data, and then it has 4 modules of AI inside where it investigates WAF, BL, bot, and DDoS. We will talk about what does this mean for API security. And then we have a management unit and analytics model. The idea here is to give a one-stop solution that can give this in real-time active mitigation. Let's talk about types of attacks. When you're looking about content-based threats, it can be log4j attacks. This open source that gave everyone access to login files. And these examples, we have a one direct shot. You can go directly in and attack the system. Second tier is talking about broken object level authorizations. This is what we call the business logic. Now it gets much more complex because we knew about the content-based and existing web application firewalls. We knew they exist. We knew types of attack like XSS, SQLI, and others. We knew that they exist. But the business logic attacks, it's a higher level above it. And this is what we talk about. For example, I'm logging in to my bank account as Israel, and I'm asking for information of a bank account state. And I'm manipulating the request itself, and I'm able to see Christina data. So the request is legitimate. A customer logs in, he wants to see his data. That's legitimate. The response is also legitimate because a customer wants to see his bank status. But the idea, the connection between two of them, it's me asking someone else's data, that's where it gets very complicated because there's no signature base that will tell you this is an attack because it's a legitimate request, legitimate response. But the correlation of who's asking, who's able to see which data, that's where the problem. And this is where API comes into. We need to map very critical points inside organizations, APIs, environment, in order to actually validate where there's a type of risk that someone can access someone else's data. And this is where a lot of organizations fail because once you have a credential login to the system, all existing solutions say you are good to go. But what we know that I can open one legitimate account in order to hack the system. It's easy to open a legitimate account. You open a bank account online. I can open a bank account from my phone, ordering food, taxi, on my phone. I can do it by myself and I'm legitimate. The problem will be once I actually try to access things I'm not allowed to, or try to access a management, not as a user. Then there's another layer of attacks, of automated attacks, what we call automated fraud. Think about it. I give you a good example. A company that orders taxis online, and they found out the people opening many more accounts. So the accounts are open, and that's great. Marketing are happy, everyone's happy. But actually what happened, they got an email from the credit card insurer that says, my friends, someone's validating stolen credit cards. What happened? They came to us. And what happened? What we identified, there was bots opening fake accounts and putting stolen credit cards in order to validate if this credit card is valid or not. Once you open an account and this ordering taxi, then they charge $1. Then they know that the credit card is we call it hot. It's still alive, and then they know they can use it for someplace else. So they actually use a platform to validate stolen credit cards. We saw examples where you give a connection to a third party to work on your system, and he is able to take all the data. It happened also on a GoDaddy for the domains. What happened there that they gave access to a third party, and he was able to access through a legitimate access point to take the entire 1.2 million database, names and users in the database, including credit card information. It happened now to the largest telco in Australia. Again, when you have a legitimate request, that's where WAF stopped to work. WAF are at the gate till the entrance, where they validate it's good, no good, comparing with IP table, patterns, signatures, etc. But once it's a legitimate request, for them, you can do whatever you want. But as we know, customers update their APIs 3 times a day. This means the security risk at 8 a.m. is different than a security risk at 8 p.m. because a developer could have given a new access or giving access to a legitimate customer to where he's not allowed to, giving him new possibilities to access unauthorized data, unauthorized permissions, etc. So this is where the API is focusing on, mapping the entire risk for the organization, understanding what it can be credentials, what can be very risk-oriented for organizations in order to stop those attacks in real time. And of course, some also addition to that, applicative DDoS attacks. This means that someone can manipulate those specific APIs. As we mentioned, those APIs consume data and the business driving for organization. This means if a hacker wants to take down a specific service, he can do it very easily, coming under the radar with a very low flow of attacks. So these are another examples where you can go to legitimate APIs, coming under the radar and doing all kinds of abuse. You can steal the data, you can hack the system through that legitimate API, you can see someone else's data, and of course, block it and clog those systems. So this is where API finds us. We're looking at why L7 defense. I put here 5 slides, why L7 defense gives the best solution for this. So when you're looking about the first one is the only company that provides an active protection in real time from the first request. We are not analytic tools. We're not advisor tool. We are a real solution that provides mitigation capabilities in real time. And second point, L7 defense is the only solution that doesn't require any access. I don't need to send signatures inside, and I don't need to request the logs to investigate it backwards. It's a fully autonomous solution. And you know what? This solution was so capable to do automatically. Today, we sit on smart NICs. Today, you can get L7 defense inside a server from the manufacturer. AMD, Intel, NVIDIA have L7 defense on their chips. So the ability to secure a third party without no access, because we know regulation, giving someone else access to your data is risky. L7 defense provide a fully autonomous solution for that. Next, talking about scale, ability to be in several locations, taking L7 defense modules, separating them to analytics, mitigation, management. It helps organizations to be spread out, multi-cloud, multi-environments. It can be a DR, it can be a data center, it can be a hybrid between data center and a cloud. We're able and agnostic to provide it from any of those locations. Next point is a plug and play. What's unique about L7 defense? You install the system, start running it automatically in 1 hour, it gives you already security. The negative security profiling is built less than an hour. After 1 day, automatically you're already fully covered. So the idea here is to have a solution you don't need to maintain and configure. And then ongoing learning mechanism, where every 5 seconds, the system updates its AI capabilities. And it learns to adjust and to tailor-made those configurations for the customer. It's amazing because you put the two solutions, L7 Defense in 2 locations. It will have different signatures, different AI learning for the system. What's good, what's bad. The idea here, that automated solution, you don't need to work on it, that's very efficient. And of course, that brings us to the next slide, reducing cost optimization. Cost optimization is very important today. We're talking now on recession. We're talking about where it's hard to employ those people for those tasks. With a solution that reduces cost, it makes existing solutions work better. So for example, we could put L7 Defense and hook it on existing web application firewalls to make them much more efficient. The idea here, you can use existing solutions, putting L7 Defense on top of it and making it much more secure. I want to give 2 case studies. The largest insurance company in Israel. This insurance company, they have coast-to-coast F5 system for WAF. They knew they had some challenge with those APIs. So they put L7 Defense, and the same day, they evaluated attacks on the system. So the first day, they already brought a third party to do attack simulation. And it was amazing what we were able to find in the first day. First of all, no impact on traffic. Always remember, we don't impact no latency, no traffic, no having a losing data, false positive and others. And then we were able to identify real-time attacks after even through those testing, and the day afterwards was a real-time attack and was able to block again. So L7 Defense, with real production system, was able to secure the environment. Then we have the largest telco, the AT&T, where you can imagine how big they are, how many layers of solutions they have, and they came to us because they had a lot of attempts, but they knew something was suspicious. They knew accounts were hacked, but they didn't know how that happened. Like, where did they come from? How did it happen? People say, okay, our account was hacked, our credit card was stolen, our account was closed, and they found in the hundreds and the thousands of those. And they didn't know how did it happen because they have so many layers of security. And they put L7 Defense. We were able to identify under the radar bot attacks that they were trying to steal credential. That's what we call credential stuffing. Trying to steal customers' data, trying to steal customers' environment, customers' access system. And we were able to find thousands of them, millions of those attempts, and actually block thousands of them in the first 2 days. So there was a very strong capabilities of L7 Defense in demonstrating for large. Actually, if you're looking at this, telcos are one of our favorites. So we talked about segments. So telcos, we're working globally with telcos. We're working with finance globally. Finance are under transmission of digital transmission, as well as those telcos that they're moving to the 5G, moving to distributed data centers. I want to do a summary of the presentation and then move next to the live system. Okay, so what we see here, and can you see me? I believe you can see my screen. Okay, the system, I see I cannot press and click. That's let's see if I can do it now. Can you see I'm changing slides? Changing the dashboard. Can you see?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Okay, so now you can see me. Okay, so let's see. So API discovery. Okay, the system automatically discovers all the APIs you have there. So the system understands, for example, this domain, we're going to simulate attacks on it. It's called demo L7 Defense testing. We know the system automatically maps all the endpoints it has, which endpoints have sensitive arguments in the request, which have in a response, how many templates you have, and what's the coverage status of it. What we see that there was last update was the system was last updated long time ago, and the customer is a long time environment where it's running, where you have environments that are running less time. And then you can click on this and you can find exactly what the system has. So it has actually inventory user card, inventory shop products, actually categorize everything and build clusters, understanding what is actually risk of each one of those points. And then it could say, for this, I have a sensitive arguments. Let's click on this and I can actually see what are those sensitive arguments. So we have here 3 in the response, 1 on the request is blue, response is red. And then the system actually identify that here we have PII name, okay? Characters are seen as letters, or the system understand that this is a customer's username. And then this could be, again, customer username, and this is a project ID the customer has. So the ability here, the system to understand it automatically, what is the sensitive system, what sensitive arguments in the APIs, it's very important because you know how to be much more focused on your risk, because there's a lot of noise. Cybersecurity makes lots of noise for organization, many types of risk, many types of attacks, alerts. Organizations need to be focused. By putting the spotlight on sensitive data, it makes you focus where the risk is. Because if it's not sensitive, it's public data, it's a website informative data, it's less critical. So someone had access and it was reading the system. It could be the Google bot, identifying what you have on your website. But if it's something sensitive, someone trying to get access to a username, to a user email, that's where you have to be focused. And you have to map all the tokens to understand the right person is accessing the right place. So that was an example of automated discovery. Then you have all kinds of type of attacks per APIs that can happen. And you can have many types of attacks happening through APIs. And let's give example for business logic. So you can see per time, endpoint, and you can start investigating. This is, for example, the system identified a risk, where full identity identifier, where you can see actually a content violation, augmented tamper. And I want to conclude on this and thank 3CON for the great opportunity to present L7 Defense. We're looking forward to working closely with you. And maybe I can give here a very special offer for the audience who contact 3CON. We will do a free risk visibility of the organization, free of charge, till the end of January. So please contact 3CON representatives, and we'll be happy to give you a free risk visibility to your environment. Thank you, and I'm open for Q&A.
Thank you, Israel. Pessoal, não sei se ficou claro, até o Israel está falando que até o final de janeiro, todos aqueles que quiserem entrar em contato com a 3CON e fazer um teste gratuito, não vai custar nada, para principalmente ver como está e testar, né, as suas APIs, pode entrar em contato, que ele está liberando sem custo nenhum até o final de janeiro. Very nice, very nice. Amazing. Let's see. First, Israel, sorry for my English, okay? To tell you the truth, I'm learned English watching the sitcom Seinfeld. We have some questions here. Okay, let me check. We have 2 questions from the same team. First, from Tayani. I will ask the both together. Can API security replace WAF? And the other is, may I consider that L7 is a WAF only to APIs?
Okay. API security is a new segment that came up. Web application firewall securing web servers is existing for many years, since 2002. API are pretty new. It came out to the market December 2019, was the first time mentioned API security. L7 Defense is a risk visibility for all those APIs. We usually work with existing WAFs. We don't replace them. We use with existing web application firewalls and bringing an additional layer for all of that APIs.
Then they work it together, right? It's more defense, more secure.
It's additional layer because of visibility of API. It's understanding what's a normal behavior trying to do. We're not talking about attack like XSS, that, a classic attack they used to have signatures and IP table. We're talking about normal behavior that's doing critical damage. This is where API is covering. We're not looking for the baseline security as signatures that WAF give. They're honest in the place. What we do is additional layer to understand inside, after the WAF gateway, what goes in, what's a normal behavior inside, what's a not normal behavior inside.
I like when we met the first time, you say something like, doesn't care who is going inside, but I'm care what is the guy is doing inside, right? This is the difference by L7 defense.
Yes. So we're looking for the legitimate customer logging in the environment and abusing the system. That's what we're looking for. Because any non-legitimate customer will be blocked by web application firewall, or because he's not authenticated, or because he has no access. But we're looking for people who have access and they're doing malicious attacks on the system.
Marmo have a question here. Marmo, please.
I have some question, but I will do just one. Can L7 defense block DDoS attacks against the server instead of against APIs?
And to complement Israel, can you give some example, some attack some company had and L7 can protect it?
So I'll give you an example of an API DDoS attack. Very interesting. We were able to find for a financial industry that they do trading for banks. This means no one has access. There's no private person can access the system. Only from a specific server of a bank to do trading through their system to the trading NASDAQ. And what happened was that was one of those banks sending requests that was jamming the service. So it was not a purpose attack. There was no hacker there. But accidentally, one legitimate of the customers, a bank, a big, large bank, was damaging this system by sending requests that were asymmetric, and all other banks couldn't do trading online. So this was a very good example of a DDoS attack where it's not a hacker, but it's an mistake request that caused damage on the servers. So this is a very good example we were able to find. No one was able to find because no one thought about that's a hacker, because there's no one has access. It's a closed environment. No one has access to the system. So how can those servers are not working? But we were able to identify a type of attack that was caused accidentally DDoS attack.
I have more two questions from user. A user, can we have a free POC? Yes, of course, you already told about that. And we will contact this guy and we will make some arrangement with him. The name is Walter Bet.
Until the end of January, it's free of cost, the POC.
Yes, I will talk to Walter about that. Please wait our contact. And we have another question that is, what is the role of 3CON with L7 Defense API security? We understand the solution. We are a legal representative of L7 in Brazil. We are able to do delivery, to install, to support. Of course, if you have some question, we have all support from the L7 company, okay? We are prepared to put L7 in the market.
And of course, with our specialist team, we can make the consultancy from the company, from the cybersecurity point of view.
We are very happy to partner with 3CON. Brazil market is very innovative about using APIs. Open banking, we see it in the new neobanks and banks that have no branches, physical branches. I won't say the names here, but there is a lot of transactions happening now in Brazil. It's a market is moving very fast, very innovative, with super apps, as we call it, where one app you can do many things online. And the requirements for API security are increasing dramatically now in Brazil.
Okay, guys, we are out of time. Okay, we are going to the end of this live. Thank you, Marmo. Thank you, Israel. Please, you have more 2-3 minutes to your final consideration.
Yeah, so I want to thank us again, 3CON. I believe this can be a strong partnership in the local market. as it's a good timing now to come with an API security solution. Now the customers and partners are all looking forward to embed new types of solutions for this demand coming now. I believe API security from L7 Defense is the best solution that can fit the local market for privacy data and for scalability. And I'm looking forward to partnering with all of you.
I would like to thank you very much for your presentation, tonight's presentation. And okay, we are ready to go already.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.